actor is playing her dream part in London's West End. No amount of bullying or scandal can change that.
Jealousy is a disease, and I hope you never get cured from it. You deserve this life. You've never made a single person laugh.
I'm a theater kid that got everything she wanted. Yes, we're aware of that, Rachel. We get it. We really do.
Total train wreck. Total disaster. She was just sort of the epitome of that elite, annoying young person.
You are the ugliest inside and out. You deserve nothing but the worst.
It wasn't just disrespectful, it was defiant, arrogant, and to a lot of women watching downright embarrassing, because while the internet was still reeling from her infamous balcony meltdown, Rachel's glare decided to respond not with an apology, not with humility, but with a smug little video aimed directly at the Mayor of London, and what she posted, it didn't just make things worse, it lit a match and threw it straight into the gasoline.
You don't want to hear from Rachel Zegler about feminism or her life or what she wants to do with her body. You play, be an actress, be young, be an ingenue in Hollywood. I don't understand what she's doing. The fastest way to tank your career, go out there and start running your mouth and trashing the original IP of the film you're in. Also, there's nothing wrong with wanting a man. Can we not have chivalry in this world anymore? There's nothing wrong with saying, you know what? I'd love for a man to come scoop me up and provide.
The TikTok only stayed up for about an hour, but that was long enough for the damage to be done. Rachel's in what looks like her Avita dressing room, hair and curlers, makeup half done, sipping from a teacup. She stares into the camera and lip syncs to a trending audio. They said I was too much, so I became more. Then right at the end she smirks and adds her own line, tell your mayor I don't take direction. The caption, real women don't shrink themselves, try again.
So when I do public appearances, I get very anxious. I had an anxiety attack on the plane ride here.
I bet.
She first explained how intense the backlash was.
Pretty much I can't post a picture of myself on Twitter without a bunch of people telling me how ugly I am.
Almost quitting social media because it sent her into depression.
So I'm very hesitant to share a lot of myself with the world.
That's what happens when you're a bit, is that nobody likes you. I know it sounds crazy, but those are the consequences of your actions. That's life.
It was meant to be a clapback, but to most people, especially women who've actually had to work hard, face criticism and carry real responsibility, it came off as spoiled, self-obsessed and completely detached from reality. This wasn't some brave stand against oppression, this was an actress being called out for disrespecting an iconic role and turning it into a performative meltdown with a side of girl boss branding.
Girl power, girl boss. Everyone needs to be a strong, independent woman that don't need no man. And everybody is tired of that. Everybody is sick of that. And everybody is ganging up on Rachel. She dealt with some really, really severe backlash, which I can kind of understand. But me personally, I'm not under the impression that she wasn't maybe coached to make this happen, to create some type of a draw for the movie. Because this is the narrative that Disney particularly is trying to push.
By the time the post was deleted, screenshots and screen recordings had already gone viral. Commentary channels jumped on it, fan pages started scrubbing their Zegler content, and on X a new wave of backlash exploded, not just from theater fans but from women who once supported her, because this wasn't just a response to criticism.
When you look at all of the videos, all of the pictures of her, she almost looks more psychotic. Like, she does not look pleasant at all. Like, she's the type of person that if you went in for a hug, you could potentially end up getting severely hurt yourself.
When you look at all of the videos, all of the pictures of her, she almost looks more psychotic. Like, she does not look pleasant at all. Like, she's the type of person that if you went in for a hug, you could potentially end up getting severely hurt yourself. It was a taunt, a sneer, a smug middle finger to the city that gave her a stage and to the audiences who once rooted for her. But that was only the beginning, because the reaction from female fans wasn't what she expected, not even close.
That's crazy. Like, anybody doing that needs to, in my opinion, go to jail. I think if you take an internet beef and you take a problem that you have with a personality or anything like that, and you take it into the real world, you just need to go to jail. Like, I asked myself the question, right? And does anybody actually have an answer for this? Is there any reason they shouldn't go to jail? Why should a civilized society tolerate that type of mental illness?
Rachel thought she was being bold, empowered, untouchable, but what she didn't see coming was the reaction from the very audience she claimed to represent, the women, and this time they weren't cheering her on, they were calling her out.
She's 20-something. I guess I can't call her a millennial. She's whatever the other generation is. She's the 20-something ingenue from New Jersey that really should have stayed as the star of her High School Musical rather than trying to break it into the big leagues, because she has cost a lot of people a lot of money. And apparently she's sort of feeling the heat right now.
It started with a wave of TikToks stitched to her now deleted video, women from all walks of life, theater students, working moms, even former fans, all saying the same thing: this isn't empowerment, it's ego.
So a couple thoughts on Rachel Zegler and her spoiled brat attitude and how she's ruining. So I don't blame Zegler for being a brat any more than I blame Justin Bieber or any young star who thinks they're special and deserve all the fame they have. And it's the same with like George Clooney, right? He had to sleep in his friends' cars when he's in his 30s before he made it. Compare that to any actor who gets huge when they're 20. And that's all it really is. And if you got somebody like Rachel Zegler, you really have to babysit them. Especially like babysit them through their public appearances.
One viral comment read, "She's not speaking truth to power, she's just mad she didn't get praised for disrespecting a role she didn't understand." Another said, "Rachel being loud isn't the same as being powerful." And then came the hashtags, noting my name, #girlbossgone, #Evita deserved better.
And they have to be a girl boss that takes on the world and like an entrepreneur. And the reality is, not every woman wants that. Some women want to be swept off their feet and fall in love. It's okay. And those women aren't any less of women because they don't want to be, the leader that their father always... You understand? Am I mansplaining this well enough to you guys?
These weren't started by critics or tabloids, they were started by women who felt betrayed, women who once defended Rachel's glare from online hate, who believed she represented something fresh and fearless, but now they say she's become everything. They're trying to move past narcissism in a feminist costume, performative rebellion with zero accountability.
I genuinely feel bad for that Rachel Zegler girl. Like, we all know she was coached to say those things, right? Right. We all have to know that. You really think that? Like, I'm the first to admit when I saw her interviews, I hated her. I was like, ew, how snide. Ugh, how condescending. And then I was like, well, wait, she's acting it up. They told her to do that. You can't tell me this young woman was cast in such an iconic role.
Some went deeper, pointing out how Rachel's entire "I don't take direction" moment played right into the stereotype of the bratty, untouchable celebrity, a far cry from what real strength actually looks like. One young actress posted, "Real women don't mock mares, real women show up, work hard and fix it when they get it wrong." Within 48 hours, Rachel's name had shifted from inspirational to irritating. Supporters went quiet, fan edits disappeared, and suddenly the same people who once celebrated her rise were now wondering whether she was ever truly for them in the first place. But the next blow didn't come from fans, it came from inside the industry itself, from the very women who helped build her platform in the world of fame. Silence is louder than a statement, and suddenly some of Rachel's biggest cheerleaders were nowhere to be found. Influencers who once gushed about her trailblazing courage began quietly untagging her in old posts. Blue-check feminists who had defended her Evita casting, not a word, no tweets, no stories, just the digital version of a vanishing act. But it didn't stop there, because some of the commentary wasn't silent at all. It was sharp and aimed directly at her. One British actress known for her West End roles posted a short but brutal message: "Some of us had to audition 5 times, she just had to go viral." Another former co-star who fans suspect is from her Disney circle reposted a quote: "When someone tells you they're misunderstood, watch how they treat the people around them." No names were mentioned, but the timing made it crystal clear. Even feminist platforms began pulling back. One popular podcast episode, originally titled "Rachel's Glare and the Power of Saying No," was quietly renamed and re-uploaded. A feminist blogger who once called Rachel a Gen Z trailblazer wrote a lengthy post titled "The Dangerous Rise of the Digital Diva." In it, she argued that Rachel was becoming the poster girl for what feminism isn't: loud, deflective, and completely allergic to accountability. It was no longer just a PR problem, it was a reputational collapse, not because Rachel made a mistake, but because she doubled down, mocked the fallout, and alienated the very people who once saw themselves in her story. And behind the scenes, her team was reportedly in panic mode, because this wasn't just a messy week. It was starting to look like a career in free fall inside Rachel's glares camp. The mood reportedly shifted from defiance to full-blown crisis within hours of the deleted TikTok going viral. What started as a bold social media moment quickly turned into a wildfire they couldn't put out, and her team knew it. According to an anonymous entertainment publicist, emergency calls were made almost immediately. Agents, publicists, lawyers, even Disney reportedly got looped in, worried about how the drama might spill over into her upcoming press campaigns. One source close to her management team said they thought it was just online noise, then they saw the backlash from women and the sponsors. That's when the panic hit. Behind the scenes ideas were flying. Should she release a formal statement? Should they blame the video on stress or poor judgment? One leaked email, allegedly from someone on her digital PR team, suggested spinning it as a misunderstood expression of female strength taken out of context by a biased press, but that move never materialized because reportedly Rachel wouldn't agree to any version that even hinted at an apology. She allegedly told one team member, "If I back down now, they win. I'm not giving them that." To make matters worse, an unconfirmed voice note began circulating online, said to be from someone inside the PR firm representing her. In it, a stressed-out voice is heard saying, "We warned her, we begged her not to post." She said it was her truth. And that truth, it was burning everything down. Brand partnerships were stalling. A podcast she was scheduled to appear on mysteriously pulled the episode, and insiders say her upcoming interview circuit meant to reintroduce her as a mature, thoughtful lead is now in jeopardy. Nobody wants to air a puff piece about a rising star when that star is actively mocking mayors and alienating half her fan base, but the real damage that was waiting for her back in London, where theatre insiders were already shutting doors while Rachel's team scrambled in LA. The message coming out of London was much simpler: she's finished here. And it wasn't just the tabloids saying it, it was the very people who once gave her a shot on the West End stage. One veteran casting agent, speaking anonymously to a British arts outlet, said bluntly, "Rachel Zegler will never lead another production in this city, not because of politics, not because of culture, but because nobody wants to work with her anymore." According to multiple sources close to the Evita production, things were already tense even before the mayor backlash, and viral TikTok crew members had reportedly complained about Rachel's attitude in rehearsals, showing up late, ignoring direction, and improvising during scenes that were supposed to remain historically grounded. One stage assistant allegedly said she didn't want to play Eva Peron, she wanted to play herself in an Eva costume. Another crew league described how Rachel would shut down feedback by pulling the empowerment card anytime someone tried to reel her in. It became, "You're afraid of powerful women, or you don't get my vision." But after the deleted TikTok mocking the mayor, that was the final straw. Producers, theatre managers, and backstage staff began distancing themselves. According to an insider, some were even pushing for her immediate removal from the show, worried the backlash could permanently stain the theatre's reputation. One member of the Evita team reportedly said, "We're dealing with audience walkouts, refund requests. People are embarrassed to be associated with this." And in a brutal twist, it's not just Rachel's job on the line anymore. The entire production cast, crew, marketing team is allegedly at risk if things keep spiraling, because the story is no longer about Evita, it's about her attitude, her image, her refusal to back down. And just when you think it can't go any further, it does, because now fans aren't just cancelling tickets, they're gathering outside the theatre. It started with a few women holding candles, quiet, dignified, a simple reenactment of the original Vita balcony scene, performed exactly as it was meant to be. No screaming, no viral gestures, just poise, presence, and reverence for the role.